Yo, what's going on, guys? John here. Hope you guys are all doing great wherever you guys are tuning in from across the world. I appreciate you as always. I'm your host for the evening, John Shin, and I have a bit of a conundrum. I have a bit of a situation that I need to explain to you guys. So please strap in, and I want to start off by apologizing in advance if I sound like I don't care, if I sound like I'm a bit tired, if I sound like I'm a bit delirious, if I look like my eyes are drooping slightly. If I look tired, I do apologize because it is currently 2:15 a.m. here in New York City. I am screwed because I have work tomorrow and I am absolutely poked. I have to finish editing this. I have to finish cleaning, prepping for tomorrow. So I'm pooped and I'm screwed. But I had to record this video. Over the course of 2 weeks, I did maybe more than 100 takes. I tried to record this introduction video in a variety of ways. I wanted to do it in a way that I felt like would be the closest thing to perfection or perfect in terms of what I felt was appropriate for my channel and the content that I want to produce. I wrote a script for it. I wanted to explain to you guys properly and in detail what this new series was going to be about, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about why I do it and what I'm doing and go into detail and stuff like that. But after recording it 100 plus times, I realized that it didn't feel as organic as I wanted it to. It didn't feel as authentic. And you guys know most of the stuff that I create on this channel, I'm 100% always real. I keep it 100 as we say here in New York. I try to keep things as real and organic, as fun as possible. You know, hashtag immaculate vibes. But it just didn't feel comfortable for me. And I'm just going to do this one more take. And this is going to be the final take. So again, I do apologize if I do, start, taking a little bit of turns here and there. If you guys are returning subscribers and if you guys are part of the Thick Like fam, you guys know it. I tell you guys this every single time. Every single chance I get, I tell you guys, I appreciate and love each and every single one of you guys. Doesn't matter if you guys are not Manchester United fans. Doesn't matter if you guys are here just to make fun of me or whatever it is. If you guys are here, you guys are here. And you guys are showing me love and support. That makes it even better. So from the bottom of my heart, I say it again, from the bottom of my heart, I really, truly, genuinely thank you all for your love and support as always. And if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys like what you're hearing, if you guys like what you're saying, you guys are okay with a 30-year-old Korean American man in New York City talking about God knows what, maybe do give me a cheeky little subscribe, And if you guys are interested, also hit that like and all the good stuff. I'm gone. I'm gonna try and wrap this up. For those of you who are part of the Tech Like fam community, you guys know how much I place emphasis on things like good vibes and fun times and comedy and humor and laughing and enjoying life and hashtag immaculate vibes. The whole shebang. You guys know how much I place importance on things like that in life. And of course, that was one of the main reasons why I started the Us Humanize series on this channel. As much as I love talking about Manchester United and football and comedy and getting dubs in Warzone and whatever, I always felt compelled to want to create content that's based on the idea of humanization, based on the idea of communication, the art of listening, the art of talking, the art of understanding, sympathy, simple things that I feel like used to be a more important aspect in our life, but especially in this day and age, these kinds of traits seem to have almost been evaporated away from our society. It almost has been has gone extinct to some degree. That might be a bit of an exaggerated stretch, but in the current times that we live in, it just feels more and more like people don't want to listen, people don't want to talk, people don't want to understand, people don't want to do these things. And some reasons might be rightly so, some reasons might be wrongly so. Who are we to judge or who are we to decide? But I felt so compelled over the course of the past few years to try and do something that highlighted people's good things and talked about different walks of life and understanding what it means to be human, what it means to be you, what it means to be me. And I always wanted to create these things, but the Us Humanize series, it was a bit of a stretch. I'm gonna be completely honest. It felt a bit too serious. And you can't have good vibes, John, without a bit of brevity and a bit of good, fun humor. So I've started this new series called One of Each, and it's not going to be a comedy fest where I'm making jokes and you guys are having a great time laughing at a free comedy show. That's not what this is at all. Rather, it's still very focused on humanization. It's still very focused on conversation. But I pick the thematic topics, and then the guest gets to actually pick the specific moment of discussion, and we just kind of kick things off from there. Now, I wrote this whole script, like I explained to you guys before, and I was going to go in detail, very serious, specific detail about what each topic is, and give you guys these little sappy, like really cheesy, almost cringy things. But I'm just going to give it to you guys straight. I am absolutely exhausted. This has to be done. Each of the topics are a location, food, a meal, and anything. Now, these three, did I just say 4, 3? Let's do it again. A location, a meal, and anything. I picked location because I wrote this whole thing about how I was, each human has their own X, Y, and Z coordinate in this space, in moment in time, and this whole crap I wrote. But basically, a location because, it's just location. I've been to some place. I've been to this restaurant. I've been to this museum. I've been to this school. I've been to this hospital. I've been to this mountain. I've been to my specific X, Y, and Z coordinates in life. But my guest could have been in a completely different place in a completely different time, experienced something completely different and something very, very new, at least from my perspective. So I picked location for that specific matter. I picked meal because I love food. You guys know how much I love food, but I also picked meal because I think food has such a powerful impact on who we are as human beings. It doesn't necessarily have to be about, the cultural differences of what food you represent and I represent. Not at all. It could be about the meal you had, the last meal you had with somebody important, or the last meal you had for lunch during work, or it could be about anything food related. Really, honestly. Because food is as much as it is when it's all, stripped down to its core, food is a nutrition for us human beings that we need to consume in order to survive. But that's not what this channel is about. We're here for good vibes. We're not here to get too deep and existential. Food at the end of the day is what makes us happy. It's what keeps us excited, especially if you're looking for a cheat meal during a diet, if you've been hungry because you haven't had a chance to eat anything all day. Whatever the case may be, if you're in a privileged situation or a more difficult situation, food, I guarantee you, will put a smile on your face, especially. Even more so if the food is absolutely delicious and banging. So I picked food because I think it's a great tool or resource that we can use to have conversations. And the last topic pretty much speaks for itself. Anything that the guest wants to speak to me about, I leave it on their court. Now, I've explained everything. I am absolutely pumped. But without further ado, I want to introduce the first guest, the inaugural guest for our new series. And this guest is very appropriate because I met this guest when I just started creating content, or just really sort of delved into the idea of creating content on YouTube and on social media, because for the longest time I've wrestled with the idea of wanting to make videos and, explore the creative side of my brain and my life. And this man was the first person to open his arms wide and say, "John, you wanker, come and let's have a good time." He's corrected my British accent a number of times. We've had so many laughs together. He currently still creates content on YouTube, mainly focusing on Manchester United, but he has got a humorous side to him that I have not yet seen in over 6, 7, 8 years, nearly a decade, really. This man deserves even more subscribers and more love than he already has. He goes by the name of Flying Pig United on YouTube, but his real name is Joe, and he is my number one mentor. He is the sensei that opened his arms out and said, "John, come here, you tosser." Sorry, I don't know. I've watched a clip of Tyson Fury recently, and he just keeps saying tosser, so I just I don't know. But anyways, without further ado, this is Joe. Hope you guys enjoy the conversation, and if you guys do enjoy that, please do hit the subscribe button. And please do like the video and hit that notification bell so you guys are always staying up to date on new stuff. But anyways, I hope you enjoy it. All right, my goodness. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've heard the introduction by now, but I have to take, before he says anything, I have to first take this moment to thank him for coming on, because he is, above all else, a brother, a mentor, everything on this space and this medium, this platform, because he pretty much got me started on YouTube. I mean, I was first uploading videos and whatnot, and it was always good vibes. But my man here, Joe, aka Mr. Flying Pig HD, was the initial name. We've rebranded, we've evolved to Flying Pig United. But Joe he's my number one guy on here, so I had to start off this
very much,
series.
John. Thanks very much, John. Yeah, it's great to be on anytime, John. You know, got a lot of time for you, man. And like you say, we go back a long time, nearly to the start of my YouTube journey. So, you know, what can you really say other than, yeah, we go way back. And
I actually appreciate this, because I'm pretty sure the weather's warming up and whatnot, but you're wearing the traditional Mr. Flying Pig HD, the hat there.
I know. Well, last time I came on, you did mention where was the hat, and I didn't have it to hand at the time. So rocking it, even though, you know, I do have a lot of hair underneath this hat these days and these on. So it's definitely quite toasty.
Look, I had to throw it back. I usually don't wear kits like this, but we have to show love for Manchester United, because that was where we all started. You remember those pink slips that we used to do? Like, we used to play each other on FIFA.
Yeah,
and
man.
I remember I was just trying to stay relevant, and I remember just trying to sound like a Brit, and I said something like twat or something, and you were exploding with laughter, because it was definitely not the right way to say it.
It still cracks me up when I hear an American person say the word twat, because we say it like that, like twat, and you obviously twat, and it just I don't know. I think that's the first time I ever heard anybody say that, and it just absolutely threw me all over the place. Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, those days, man, where we used to play FIFA against each other all those years ago, crikey. Time flies.
Yeah, it does. Oh my goodness. But other than that, how's everything been with you? Everything's all right? Everything's going well on the YouTube front?
All good, mate. All good. Yeah, just plugging away. I've sort of enjoyed the last week or two, actually, with no United on. I've just sort of been taking it easy, to be fair, and recharging the batteries a little bit, but also just nice not to have the negativity that comes with being a United fan, especially when they're doing bad. So, you know, so it's nice just to take a step back. But yeah, other than that, just looking forward to seeing United play again at the weekend and getting back into that. Other than that, life's pretty much the same. All good. Can't really complain. Yeah, how's things for you, mate?
There you go. It's been all right. You know, I mean, I don't know how old you are specifically, but
I'm 34. Yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay. Great. Well, not great, because I'm younger than you, but I'm turning 30 this year, so it's a bit of a.
Oh no way! John Shin's going to be 30. That's sign. That's pure proof that we're getting old, man.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't sound right to me, because I remember you were like a teenager. Well, maybe not then. I don't know. Right?
I was still young.
Yeah, you were young. You look like a teenager at the time.
Yeah. What about now? I don't look like a teenager now?
You still look young, man. You don't look 29, actually. I would have put you mid-20s. So you're doing well, man. That's what you want to hear.
We're off to a flying start. Here we go. I love this. All right. We're going to get straight into it, guys. Of course, the show, one of each. We're going to talk to Joe and try to dissect into his life a little bit. Not too much, but of course, we have to talk about Manchester United at the end. We'll talk a lot about that. Don't worry. Stick around. We're going to get into it with picture number 1.
Right. Well, this is where I'm from. And, well, not specifically. My house isn't on this cliff top or anything. But this is like not
imagine you're just like in the back right there.
Yeah. This is like not that many miles from my house. I mean, I could have chosen so many different pictures of Dorset, right? Because Dorset's the county in England, which is in the southwest of England, where I'm from. And, you know, I could have chosen so many different pictures from there, because it is a really beautiful place. But this is the place on this planet that I guess has had the most shaping or the most impact in my life, just because it's where I'm from, it's where I live. So I had to choose that as my place to talk about, because I think it's an amazing place as well. Like, a lot of people associate, when they think of England, they think of London, don't they? They think of London. London's cool. I like London. It's a big city, you know. There's awesome stuff there, great history, all the rest of it. But if you want to see a different side to England, then a place like Dorset, with its countryside and seaside and beaches and all that sort of stuff, is a totally different sort of vibe. So just wanted to talk about it, because I think it's a pretty amazing place. Like, for instance, I think there's in England, they've got like a classification of like historical or beautiful areas. It's called an area of outstanding natural beauty. And there's 47% of the UK's areas of outstanding natural beauty are actually in the county of Dorset, which is a tiny percent, tiny proportion of the country for area. So it does goes to show you that it is a pretty beautiful place. And if you just Google the pictures from Dorset and swipe along, you'll see what I'm talking about.
No, it's beautiful. I think England gets a bad rap in particular because if you talk about England, especially here in the States, people don't really associate England with the beautiful, like you said, the countryside. This landscape is absolutely gorgeous, by the way. I'm a huge like a fanatic for nature and just environment in general. This is beautiful, but you don't really associate England with that. You like you said, you associate England with like gloomy London. You know what I mean? Like rainy Manchester. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the harsher side of it. I know what you're saying, like the dark, the fog, it's all that. Whereas down on the south coast where I am, like in the summer, you might as well be in Spain or something. It's really, really nice weather. The beaches are golden sand. And so I can't say enough good things about it. It's obviously a place that I still chosen to live here. I mean, my family's from up north, but but I am a southerner. Yeah.
You touched up on that a little bit. Is the northern connection one of the reasons why you started supporting Manchester United?
Yeah, I mean, my parents are both from up that way. I mean, initially my mum's from Halifax, Yorkshire. My dad's from Sheffield, but they lived around Manchester and huge fans of Manchester United in the heyday when the Holy Trinity was there. And so therefore, my family's just always been a Man United family. So my older siblings, they're both United fans. And that is the connection really. They're from up there. They moved down here. So I'm here. So yeah, so I'm not from there, but I still support the club huge. Plus, let's be honest now, of all the clubs to support growing up, when we were young in the 90s and stuff, it was one of the best, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Not so much now, but back then it was a great club to support. But yeah, my family's just always been huge United fans who moved down here.
I mean, look, if you are at least in the country of England. I don't even have any sort of geographical connection to Manchester United, but hey, wherever your heart pulls, you know what I mean? I think that's nothing wrong, man.
I mean, people always talk about that, don't they? They say, "Oh, support your local club," but I mean, that's a pretty silly way of looking at things when you want your club to be successful. I mean, if you just want the local area to support your club, then you're just gonna sink. So it's like you've got to embrace fans from all across the world, and actually, who's to say that somebody in Africa or wherever who's a Manchester United fan has any less right to be a fan of whatever club that they want just because of where they're from?
Is there any local club that you support in the area you're at now?
I mean, my local big club would be Bournemouth, AFC Bournemouth. But I mean, I'm not from Bournemouth. I'm from the other side of Dorset. So, but I always liked my local club is Paul Town, but you've never heard of them because they're crap. So, and also like they could have actually got up there throughout the years, but the thing is, the league that they're in, there's certain requirements to get up into the next league. Like you need to have a certain like stadia, certain facilities, and that sort of stuff. And they just don't. So they've won the league to get them up to the next league, to get into contention for football league and stuff many times, but they cannot progress. They're not actually allowed to go up into the league because they just don't have the facilities. Like they play on like a school field type thing,
Oh, wow. I see. Oh, but that's brilliant. I think, once in a while, if you're bored, there's nothing wrong if they're playing a game just to go down and support them. I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely, but yeah, up the Dolphins. One day, who knows? Maybe in the future, I'll purchase them and take them to the Premier League.
Yeah, we'll speak that into existence. I love that. I love that. All right, thank you so much. We're gonna move on to the next photo straight away here. Talk to us about this because this looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm like near salivating here. Talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like one of my mum's roast dinners, basically. So I feel like I'm sort of trying to sell the UK to you right now, but I mean, you've got this stuff all over there, right? So when it's Thanksgiving, you pull out the vegetables and the meat and the whatever's on that plate, but it's just a little bit different. I don't know if you guys have like Yorkshire pudding. I'm guessing over there regularly. No, so that thing at the top, that round thing, that's a Yorkshire pudding.
I
And
see.
it's a thing of absolute amazement, in all fairness. Like, if you've not sampled a Yorkshire pudding, you've got to sample a Yorkshire pudding with gravy. It's absolutely amazing. And
Interesting.
this is another thing we talk about, where we say about the UK gets a bad rep when people think about um the country. Well, people always say, I've heard, like, in America they say the food over in the UK sucks. I've heard a lot of Americans
No.
say that, right?
Yeah, they
And
do.
being
They
from
do.
the UK, maybe it's because my palate's grown this way, and I've been used to it. But I just think about all the great cuisine we've got, whether it's a roast dinner, whether it's like a fried breakfast, like an all-day breakfast, with sausage, bacon, beans, hash browns, all the rest of it, and or whether it's like things like toad in the hole, which is like just a big Yorkshire pudding with sausages in it,
Mhm.
or fish and chips. Fish and chips is absolutely lovely. If you've had a proper, authentic UK fish and chips, it's absolutely amazing. I don't know why it gets a bad rep, but I wanted to talk about this because this is the sort of roast dinner that I've grown up eating, and I think it pretty much encompasses the UK. It's just what we have, like, on Sunday. Every Sunday, you're supposed to have a Sunday roast, and that is like a staple of society growing up in the UK, where I'm from anyway. You have a Sunday roast, and you have something that resembles that. You might have beef, you might have chicken, you might have turkey, you might have gammon, but well, you might have all of them if you're a fat
Right.
bastard like me. but either way, that is the sort of custom in this country. Is on a Sunday you have a Sunday roast. So I was thinking of things like, what is my I mean, it's one of my favorite meals, but also I just think it's the meal that sums up, my upbringing the most. It's the meal that sticks out my most in my mind, that I've had more or less every Sunday for 34 years.
Yeah, no, you touched up on that. You touched up on that point. Every time I speak to somebody, they always ask me, "Oh, John, how's England? How's London? How's Manchester?" I tell them all the time, don't be surprised if the food is great, because every
Mm,
time I've been to England, the food has been nothing short of exceptional. And I always tell people when they ask me about tips, I always tell them, like, why do you think England gets such a bad rap? And I think it also, like we were talking about before, association with weather, just the gloominess aspect of
mm.
it all. I've actually, for the first time, the last time I went last year to London, I tried a Sunday roast, and of course, it's not like a homey style roast, but it was a restaurant that just sold Sunday roast, and
Yeah.
I just asked for a little bit of everything,
Was
and it
it a
was
Toby Carvery or something else?
I have no idea. All I remember was there was a Yorkshire pudding, there was like some sort of lamb, some sort of beef, and it was just all vegetables, like you said,
Mm,
just gravy smothered over the top, and it was
yeah.
oh my, it
Stuffing.
was
Oh, yeah. You need to have stuffing on
delicious.
it and stuff. Yeah.
Holy crap! I brought you on here to just, and I feel like you're just kind of being like, ambassador for the UK.
I am a little bit, actually. I know I am a little bit, but it's tough. I know people do like to slag our cuisine off over here. I
Mhm.
think it's perfectly fine. I mean, if you actually look at a lot of the top chefs in the world, a lot of them are British. I don't really
Exactly.
understand why people say, like, there's obviously negative things about this country as well. Definitely, one of the things is true, which they say in America, which is that people in England have bad teeth. That is true. That is true. Like, you can't get away from that. My front two teeth here, they've been capped. They're not actually real. They've been shaved down, and
Oh.
people have messed up teeth over here, man.
Oh well, look,
I don't know why. Either we've evolved that way, or, like,
we've
we
evolved
just
that way. Oh,
either we've evolved that way to have bad teeth, or we've got or there's just the I don't know, the healthcare. I mean, flossing's not even really a thing over here, mate.
oh
People
God.
do floss, right? People do floss, okay, but it's not like everybody religiously flosses every day. I don't know anybody that religiously flosses every day.
Well, look, I'm
Uh,
not here to trash on, the teeth
on the
affairs of
teeth.
England here, but look, I got nothing but love for England, and nothing but
Mm,
love for everything that has to do with England, because I just feel like it's I don't know, I don't want to say underrated, because I think that, like you said, my favorite chefs in the world are Marco Pierre White, and Gordon
mm.
Ramsay, and of course they both are of English origin. So yeah, I think England just needs to be. I think England just, at the end of the day, needs a better ambassador, and I think there's
Mm.
nobody better than you, Joe, because you've actually just you've shown us the beautiful countryside. You've shown us a beautiful plate here. Oh my
Well, that's
goodness.
it. I love my food, man, and I will rep the cuisine of this country. I mean, I love all other cuisine. I mean, it's not my favorite cuisine, right? So even though I've just settled with this, if I had to just go with like one country's cuisine for the rest of my life, I probably would go with Italy, because
Mm.
I just love things like pizza, pasta, calzones. All the different possibilities of pasta, from carbonara to tagliatelle, spaghetti bolognese, all the rest. Like, that's me down to a T. But the UK's got some amazing food, and Sunday roast, is right up there. with
Do,
the best of them.
do you cook yourself, Joe?
I mean, I do cook. I mean, the amount of Sunday roast I've ever actually cooked on myself is I can probably count on one finger.
All right, what's your best meal that you can cook up?
Okay, so pastas I can cook. I'm a bit of a demon when it comes to pasta. Things like spaghetti carbonara,
A demon.
so like pasta with a cheese sauce and sort of bacon pieces in and things like that, with maybe an egg on top, like something like that's quite nice.
Okay.
Or yeah, just things like not meat type things like steaks. I can cook it's easy, isn't it? to cook a steak, stuff like that. I keep it simple though. You know, beans on toast is a classic.
Okay, cool. Is this for you or is this for the missus?
This is for me. This is for me. But, I mean, for like roast dinner, I would leave that. I personally would not fox with that myself too much because I would ruin it definitely. But
all right, that's brilliant.
When my mum cooks a Sunday roast or the missus, that's what I'm talking about. That sort of Sunday roast, not my one. My one would be awful.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on here on the picture. Huh?
Oh dear.
Thank you, Joe. We're gonna move on to the last photo, and I think we're gonna have a great conversation because I think this is what people are gonna be here for. Here we go. All right, we gotta talk about this. We have to, of course. I think most of the conversation going forward is gonna be about Manchester United. But talk to me about this man right here and what this guy coming back to Manchester United, of course, means to you first.
Yeah, well, the reason I sort of chose this picture of Ronaldo is just because, well, he is a huge part of this club. He's obviously a huge part of the sort of fandom that a lot of people have of this club as well. Because back when he was here previously, it was a very successful period, and he was the man. He won his first Ballon d'Or whilst he was at Manchester United, and this particular picture just sort of sums up Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United in general this season because the quality's there in a lot of ways. Maybe in some areas it's arguable, but it's just not happening. It's just not happening for Manchester United. We've gone backwards again with Ollie getting sacked and Ralph coming in, and it's just been a massive frustration this season. So I just wanted to talk about him because I feel like he is getting a bit of a bad rep as well. We've been talking about the UK getting a bad rep. We've been talking about the food and that kind of thing. But Cristiano Ronaldo's been getting a bit of a bad rep recently, and I don't really understand why. I can understand that he hasn't performed in a handful of the games like a lot of the players haven't this season. But in reality, he's the most committed person that we've got at the club every time he steps on the pitch to try and score goals. He's there. He wants to score goals. He's the most frustrated about him not scoring the goals. Nobody else has to be frustrated for him. So I just think he's the consummate professional. He's somebody that is an inspirational figure in my life because I've looked at him, the way he carries himself on and off the pitch, and it's something that I think people should aspire towards. There's a lot of good examples, bad examples out there that people follow rightly or wrongly. But I think if you want to point somebody in the direction, if you've got a child, or if you want to point them in the direction of an adult man who to support and who to follow and who to emulate, then it's somebody like Ronaldo, who is at his age still super professional, still super committed, still fantastic, but also actually holds himself with a bit of class off the field as well. So that's my opinion. People may disagree with the fact that he's a perfect human. I'm not saying he's a perfect human. I just think that nobody is. And if you actually look at who's a good example of what to set, being determined, reaching your goals, smashing your goals, constantly challenging yourself, then Cristiano Ronaldo is a shining light for people to look towards. So I wanted to talk about him because I feel like he just gets he's getting such a bad rep at the moment.
Sure.
Maybe not that bad because let's face it, he's the GOAT. He's just broken the all-time international goal scoring record and also the all-time club goal scoring record, right? So he's still getting the accolades and people still worshiping him. But you're just hearing like a certain part of the fan base criticizing him, and I think it's literally zero justification behind it because I think he's the most committed player we've got.
So do you think bringing in Cristiano Ronaldo, because prior to the whole conversation about Ronaldo at Manchester United, there was always this urgency or this need for Manchester United to fill up or bolster in the midfield department in particular, because we were having so much issues. Quite honestly, if we look back the years, if we rewind back the years, since Paul Scholes has left, we've not really found a replacement for Paul Scholes. And that's an absolutely damning statement for a club in the stature, the size of Manchester United. Yeah, there were moments of brilliance where we thought Pogba was going to be the next guy. We thought, for a minute, we thought Ander Herrera was going to be the next guy. We had moments like this, but Do you think Manchester United moving for somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo in a market where he wasn't really the priority, was that a good move or a bad move? Because that's like you touched on that just now in your what you were saying before. People are questioning the idea, questioning the incentive. Were we doing the right thing? Were we just signing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not questioning the idea. I'm just questioning the criticism of Ronaldo. I'm going to make a statement now, which sort of you might think goes against what I just said. We shouldn't have signed Ronaldo. We shouldn't have signed Ronaldo. In hindsight, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it wasn't what we needed. In fact, not even with hindsight, because we knew at the time we need a central midfielder. We need somebody to come in and boss that midfield, like you said, somebody to be maybe the next Paul Scholes or something like that. Going into that season with McTominay and Fred there was a disaster waiting to happen. Like what are you expecting is going to come from that? They're okay players. They're decent squad players. They're good players, but they're not great players. And that's a position that United needed to strengthen in order to really go for it this season. I thought after we signed Sancho, Ronaldo, Varane, we would see a midfielder come in, just a cheap option. Never came, and I was very surprised at that. So in hindsight, what they've done is, it seems, is they had a certain budget. They've blown that on Ronaldo with his wages as well. The initial fee wasn't very much. They got a lot back from shirt sales, but essentially they didn't want to spend any more money because they've committed for Sancho, which was 73 million as well. Varane was a lot of money, and then Ronaldo's wages on top. So they didn't get what we needed. But I do think that the reason is because he was being heavily linked to Manchester City, and if there's an opportunity to bring Ronaldo back, you've got to take that opportunity, don't you? I mean, I'm happy. That's the happiest I've been with a signing for Manchester United for a long time. Is Cristiano Ronaldo coming back, because you know what it means and you know what a class player he is. And even still now, with the criticism that he's getting and the team not performing, I'm sure if we did actually give him the service, he would get us the goals that we need. So but just to answer your question, we should have got a midfielder instead.
Do you think Ronaldo coming was the reason why Ole got the sack? Because do you think that maybe Ole that wasn't the team he was trying to set up? Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was looking for somebody else? Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo just pretty much threw away his entire sort of philosophy, his playing style? Do you think Ronaldo coming was the ultimate downfall for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? And the reason why I bring this up is because out of all the YouTubers, out of all the content creators that I follow on YouTube with respect to Manchester United, nobody gives it to me straight like you do, Joe. I mean, since the David Moyes days, you've used the words gashtastic, you've used the words double daymare. You've hit me with such innovation when it comes to the roast, and rightly so, because sometimes things, sometimes on other platforms, you're not really able to fully express how you genuinely feel. And I think one of the reasons why many people love your work is because you're so genuine and authentic. But do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was finding it difficult to manage somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, or do you think it was just the writing was already on the wall for somebody like Ole?
Yeah, I personally think he would probably get more out of Ronaldo than Rangnick has. That's just my opinion, because he knows him, he likes him. I mean, he did sign for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, knowing that he's the coach, and they had that previous relationship where their careers overlapped a little bit, United, and so they have a relationship there. That's important. I think if you actually look at what Solskjaer did the first couple of seasons he was here, he pretty much more or less got the most out of everyone. Not quite. I mean, there's still some people like Paul Pogba who are, being inconsistent here or there. But Luke Shaw was fantastic last season. A lot of the players sort of played beyond themselves. Bruno Fernandes, if you look at him under Ole compared to him post Ole, or now this season, including while Ole was here, I guess, it's terrible. So Ole did some good stuff in regards to motivating players, getting players to perform well. I think Ole's downfall was the fact that he was very hard-headed when it came to his selection and his sort of go-to men. Like, he seemed to be quite happy with McFred in the center of the park and content with that, when everybody can see that really we do need to do better in that position. And then also the Maguire situation, like constantly sticking with him and making him captain, was a downfall for him also. It's quite symbolic that in that game, the game before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got sacked, Maguire gets sent off for doing something foolish. That was the game. That was the result that was the final nail in the coffin. Was it against Watford? I can't even remember that. But
that's right, it was Watford.
So it was, it's symbolic in that sense. So that there's lots of things that happen for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's downfall. I personally don't think Ronaldo has too much of a factor in there. The biggest factor is the fact that maybe Ole didn't get his central midfielder that he wanted to. It's a strange setup at United. It seems like there's a bit of disconnect between recruitment team and manager even. Like, we've just seen today the news that Bruno Fernandes has signed a contract that's just well, apparently it's unofficial as of yet, but the club are about to announce it. So but the new manager's not even in here. So it's kind of like, well, who's making the decisions? That's a key decision. He's already contracted for 3 years, Bruno. So wouldn't you wait for a new manager to come in to assess the situation? But no, they're just making these sorts of key decisions. Like when they signed Donny van der Beek, I personally think, I don't know, but I personally think they've said, right, we're not going to sign this guy, but we've got this. We've got a really good offer on the table here from Edwin. Edwin's called us up and he said, hey, you can have this guy for a pretty cheap price and he's a good prospect and we're not really going to lose out. So we're going to sign him. Sound good? And Ollie's gone, well, yeah, if you're not going to get me who I actually want, then yeah, I'll have him. And that's why he didn't really play him very much, because ultimately he didn't want that sort of player. He wanted to go do it a certain way. So it seems strange that we signed a player then just to not play him. But I think that's because Ollie had a certain belief and he felt like the players he had would be better for the job, and so that's another indicator why United maybe have a disconnect, because they make decisions without really the manager, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. I don't have proof of that. This is just my hunch. Opinion is that they're making a lot of decisions upstairs, and it's kind of like there's a big disconnect now, and it's like, well, we'll sign the players, we'll make the decisions, you just coach them. So
yeah, it is. We could sit here and talk about Manchester United all day, but of course, time's almost up. So I just want to leave us here with one last question for you before we sign off. By the way, guys, Joe is his platform. He also brings on other guests as well. They all have panel discussions, and they're fantastic. So I won't ask him for the easy ones like who do you think is going to be the next manager, because you can go check that out on his channel. I want to ask him a little bit more of an existential question before we sort of say our goodbyes today. Joe, do you think Manchester United will ever get back to winning ways? Will we ever win a Premier League again? Do you think that moment will return? And I want you to keep it real as possible, because you are, when it comes to me, as real as it gets. So give it to me real. Do you think we're going to get back to the winning days?
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely, we will. But it's just a question of time. Like, how long? Is it going to be 30 years like Liverpool, or 27 or whatever it was the last time before United did under Fergie? Like, it's cycles, and obviously Liverpool and City, where they're just so much better and so much more further ahead in regards to having a stable coach, having the squad, and the success and the style and everything. They're where we were under Fergie, right now. And so because of that, we're now where they were under their management, whether it's Houllier or Liverpool or Rafa Benitez, where they're up there and they're a good team, but they're not capable of taking it to that next level and challenging those big boys, unfortunately, right now. So I think it's going to take a long time for Manchester United to get back to winning the Premier League, just because there's so much competition. There's an argument that Newcastle could win it before us, right? If they do what Man City did over the next 5 to 10 years and invest huge amounts, well, they're just going to be a Goliath themselves. It's just the way it goes. If you can buy the best players every transfer window and throw money at it like it doesn't even matter, then you're going to challenge. So because of Chelsea well, we don't know their futures up in the air, but they're obviously right now a big, huge club. Liverpool, City, there's more competition now, right? So it's more difficult to get back. But football does go in cycles. I look at the fact that Liverpool took 30 years to do it. I know United's a huge club, a great support club. We will try and strive towards it. But the thing that concerns me, I would like to think, we could have one good transfer window, plug the centre-back position, get a proper midfield, and then we would be where we need to be to challenge next year. But I don't think it really works like that. I think it takes time. You look at what Klopp did at Liverpool. It takes time. Some managers come in, obviously, and win it in a short space. We've seen it, Jose, a lot of guys did it at Chelsea actually in a short space to make it successful, but it's difficult. And also there's no there's just no there's no guarantees that we're ever that the owners are ever going to strive to win the league. That's the problem. Like, this is not a well-run club. It's not a well-owned club. The owners are not good owners. They're businessmen who are just using this as a vehicle to generate cash for themselves personally, right? So it's totally different to somebody who's like a passion project. Like, for instance, City's owners, say what you want about them, but they are happy to invest super duper amounts of money in the team to try and win the title. That's what their objective is every single season, whether they do it or not. They spend 100 million on bloody Greenish, for Pete's sake, right? So they will do it. And I know we spent a lot of money, but if you actually look behind the scenes, there's a lot of negative stuff going on whether it's them inflating share prices and selling their position in those stocks to just make a profit on the side, or dividends, or certain commercial deals which are not necessarily in the best favor for Manchester United. There's lots of things that they do for their own personal gain. So for that reason, I can't really say how long it would take. If they were out tomorrow, and the fans own the club, I believe we'd get back to winning the title in 2 years, or less than that even, because I think that we'd make the right decisions, we'd make the right approaches for the right players, and we'd raise our standard again, because the standard has slipped at Manchester United over the Glazer years. It really has, from being a club that demands the very best and goes out there in the window and buys the very best, to becoming what we've become now, which is signing sort of bang average players up to long deals and going out there and signing players who, more or less, apart from Ronaldo and Varane, and well, actually, we've done quite well recently, but a lot of the time it's players like Harry Maguire, who are good players, but they're not necessarily great players. Even at the time, like it was a hefty amount of money to pay for somebody like that. So yeah, they've invested, but they've not invested well, and they're just bad owners. So because of that, we probably won't win the league for a long time. If they were gone tomorrow, we'd probably win it pretty reasonably soon, because we're a great support club. We are a great club, and we do have great players and a great fan base.
But in conclusion, we will get back to winning ways. That's what you're saying.
That is just absolutely. That is the underlining
conclusion.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
Conclusion, yeah. Because eventually we will do, even if it does take a long time, like it did for Liverpool. You can't really keep a huge team down like that. I mean, Liverpool, we bantered them for 30 years. It took them to win the league. We always knew they're a good team, even during those years, whether you go back and you look at the Fernando Torres days, or before that, Fowler, Owen, whatever. They've always been a good team. It's just that they were not able to take that little step extra. And that is the difference. To be able to do that is huge. Like, it takes a lot to be able to do that. So for that reason, it's not going to come anytime soon, but it will come again.
Yeah, you name dropped Jared Houllier, you've name dropped Rafa, you name dropped Fernando Torres.
Talking about
there's
Scousers.
No, but there's fans out there now that probably don't even recognize these names.
Yeah, true, man. Yeah, I mean, imagine, we're lucky actually. Imagine if you were born in like 2010, right? And so you remember you only like from I don't know 2015 on. So after we won our last Premier League, you would just know absolute bitter disappointment and shite, wouldn't you, for that whole period. Like, if you were born in 2010 and you're a United fan, oh God bless you.
God bless you indeed. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for today. Oh man, Joe, it's been an absolute fantastic pleasure. I'm so glad I got to bring you on. You're gonna be the first episode ever. I have to do it for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, John, for letting me come on at any time, man. Anytime.
Yeah, look, we gotta get back to doing some of the pink slips. I gotta get back to England. We gotta link up in person. We gotta do a lot of things.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, next time. I didn't realize you were like coming over to England all the time. And
it was just
like
such a in and out thing, and I'm such a mess all over the place all the time. But
well, like I say, check out Dorset on Google, my friend.
Dorset.
Read into it, and I might be the ambassador for Dorset by the time you come.
Let's do it.
I'll show you around.
For sure. All right, Joe. Thank you so much. Where can people find you? I'm going to leave all your links in the description, but where can they find you?
Legend, man. Thank you. You can find me on Flying Pig United on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and the website is unitedflyinghigh.com. But yeah, man. Thanks very much for having me on. You're welcome to come on my show anytime, John. It's great having you on the panel shows as well. And we're going to bring them back regularly. So yeah, keep a lookout for John on my channel, but also just a pleasure. Great to see you doing fantastic on YouTube and all over the place, and just keep doing your thing, man.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you, guys. You guys know where to find him. I'll leave all that stuff in the description below. Make sure you guys go check out his channel, all of his social media stuff, and he's great. Trust me, he's great.
And subscribe to John Shin. Make sure you subscribe to John Shin. Smash a like on his stuff. Give him the boost out there, man, because he's a good guy. And there's the more good guys that we can get in this world, the better.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Legend. Thank you, John. Have a great day, mate.